When your offensive line isn't good, there's no way around it. You can scheme all you want, try to mask it with motion or quick passes, run the ball more, bring in an extra tight end. None of it changes the cold, hard truth. If the big guys up front can't win, everything else is just window dressing. That's a weakness, and it's going to remain a weakness until it's fixed at the source. But that doesn't mean the offense is doomed. It doesn't mean there's no hope. Because there's a certain formula that can buy you time, that can create space for a young, talented group with potential and pedigree to find its rhythm. And that formula starts under center, with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. Now listen, I was out there on Chuck Noll Field, standing on a sideline, watching this group go through an intense 2-hour session. Mike Tomlin wasn't messing around. He saw cloud cover, a decent breeze, and took full advantage. The work rate was high, the pace was serious, and the reps were meaningful. And while there were plenty of interesting things happening all over the field, I made a conscious effort to focus in on one area, the offensive tackles. Look, we already know what to expect from some of the interior guys. Zach Frazier is as steady as they come. Mason McCormick has been showing consistent improvement. Isaac Sumalo is the veteran presence that anchors the unit. But the tackles? That's where the spotlight is right now. Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu. Two guys with first-round talent, but also two guys who still need to put it all together when it matters most. Let me just say this. Trying to analyze offensive line play from field level is no picnic. There's a reason scouts and coaches use film. There's no replay, no slow motion, no all 22 view. You're standing among other players, coaches, staff, all while trying to get an angle on what's happening 3 feet in front of you. Sometimes you catch it. Sometimes you don't. But I moved around. I repositioned myself. One play I locked in on Broderick. The next I tracked Fautanu. Can't watch both at the same time, not with any accuracy. But I did my best. And here's what I saw. Broderick had his moments. He missed one assignment outright, and on a designed run to the inside of his left side, he got turned around badly. Like completely spun the wrong way, facing the backfield when the ball was already downfield. Not what you want from your left tackle. But outside of those couple missteps, he was fine. He was in position. He was physical. He was present. If I had to throw a grade on it just for fun, maybe a C+. Not terrible. Not dominant. Serviceable. Now, Fautanu, whole different story. He looked sharp. He looked locked in. And he wasn't just holding his own. He was winning reps, especially during the 2-minute drill at the end of practice. That period was high tempo, no huddle, moving the ball down the field. And who was he lined up against? Only the best in the business, T.J. Watt. Snap after snap, Fautanu didn't back down. He stayed in front. He kept his leverage. He gave Rodgers just enough time to do what Rodgers does. That's no small feat, not in that environment, not against that opponent. But here's the part that really blew me away. On maybe 80 to 85% of the plays during team drills, the performance of the tackles didn't even matter. That's how quick Rodgers was getting the ball out. It was like watching a setter in volleyball. He'd get the snap, take one step, and boom, ball gone. One touch rhythm. Bang, bang timing. Before the rush could even collapse the pocket, the ball was already on its way to the target. This is classic Rodgers. This is what he's always done. Green Bay, New York, now Pittsburgh. Same approach. It's all about anticipation. It's all about timing. He's not waiting around. He's not scanning the field for 5 seconds. He knows where the ball is supposed to go before the defense even shows their hand. And the best part? The rest of the offense is starting to catch on. You can see it in the way the receivers are running their routes. There's no wasted motion, no drifting, no delay. If the route says turn at 10 yards and look for the ball, they're turning at 10 and expecting it to be there. Because with Rodgers, it will be. I talked to Scotty Miller after practice, and he said the biggest difference playing with Rodgers versus other quarterbacks is how precise everything has to be. You're not adjusting to the ball mid-flight. You're not improvising on the fly. You better be where you're supposed to be, because the ball's already coming when you turn your head. That kind of precision forces everyone to be sharper. Route running becomes tighter. Footwork becomes more intentional. Every step has to match the timing of the quarterback's release. Even on goal line drills, where things happen fast anyway, Rodgers was making throws that relied entirely on trust and chemistry. One of those plays, you saw a receiver pivot inside, and the ball was already on the way before he even turned his head. That's elite-level stuff, and it's contagious. It also impacts the offensive line in ways people don't talk about enough. I asked Miller about that, too, whether Rodgers' quick release changes things for the big men up front. He didn't hesitate. 100%, he said, and he's right. Defensive ends and tackles in this league are absolute monsters. On this Steelers team alone, you've got guys who can wreck a play in under 2 seconds. But if Rodgers is getting the ball out in 1.5, suddenly the pressure doesn't get home. Suddenly your tackle doesn't need to be perfect. He just needs to hold up long enough. That buys breathing room. That builds confidence. And it opens up the run game, too. Because once defenses start worrying about the timing routes and the quick releases, they get caught flat-footed. And that's when you hand it off. That's when Caleb Johnson starts bursting up the middle behind Frazier and actually finds space to work. And for the first time all camp, you saw that rhythm take shape. Rodgers would hit a pass, then another, then boom, handoff. 5 yards, 6 yards, a spark, a flow. It wasn't perfect, but it looked like football. Now, don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean the offensive line is suddenly fixed. This doesn't mean you can throw caution to the wind and ignore their development. The Steelers didn't bring in all this talent to run 5-yard outs all day. They're going to need this line to step up. They're going to need Jones and Fatanu to win battles consistently. They're going to need the whole unit to gel over time. But what Rodgers gives them is a buffer, a cushion, a way to move the ball and control the tempo while the line continues to improve. And that's the key, because if this group can keep making incremental progress through the first 3 games into the international game in Ireland and arrive at the bye week feeling good about themselves, this whole season starts to look a lot different. Rodgers isn't just helping this offense stay afloat, he's elevating it. And not just with his arm, but with his presence. You can feel it out there. The confidence, the poise, the calm that spreads through the unit when he's on the field. It's the kind of leadership that can't be faked. The guys buy in because they know what he's done, and more importantly, they see what he can still do. This isn't some aging vet clinging to reputation. Rodgers is sharp, decisive, and fully engaged. And that has a ripple effect across the entire roster. Defenses know they can't sit in soft zones. Rodgers will pick that apart. But they also can't send too much pressure because he'll recognize it pre-snap and beat it with a quick read. So they end up in this uncomfortable middle ground, trying to disguise looks, trying to outthink him, and almost always ending up a step behind. That's where Rodgers wins. Not just with his arm, with his mind. And this isn't just about what he's doing in drills. It's about how he's preparing the team for Sundays. Every snap in camp, every rep in practice, is teaching these guys how to play high-level football. It's not just run your route and hope the ball finds you. It's know your assignment, know your depth, know the timing. It's quarterback and receiver operating on the same page, reading the same coverage, trusting each other. You can't manufacture that overnight. But Rodgers is accelerating that process. Now, let's be honest, there's still skepticism out there. A lot of people still wondering if he's got enough left in the tank to be that guy for a full season. And it's fair to ask those questions. Rodgers is 41. He's coming off a year that didn't go as planned. And there are legitimate concerns about durability, longevity, and whether or not he can hold up behind an offensive line that's still learning to play together. But the signs so far, they're encouraging. The arm strength is there. The touch is there. The mobility isn't what it used to be, but it's good enough. He's making throws on the move. He's extending plays when he needs to. He's not lumbering out there or showing signs of physical limitation. And maybe most importantly, he looks healthy. He looks like a guy who still wants to be out there, who still loves the process, still competes, still leads. I was one of the people who had doubts about this move when it was made. Not because I didn't respect Rodgers, but because I wasn't sure it was the right fit for a team that seemed to be in transition. But what we're seeing now, what started to emerge out on that practice field, is a team that might not be in transition at all. It might already be on the rise. And Rodgers isn't dragging this offense behind him like some kind of solo act. He's integrating into it. He's building something with it. And the results, even in practice, are hard to ignore. Take the goal line drills, for example. Those are usually the worst-case scenario for timing-based offenses. The field is condensed. The windows are tighter. The defense is aggressive. But Rodgers? He thrives in that environment. He's finding guys on whip routes, slants, back shoulder fades. He's making throws that only elite quarterbacks make, and doing it without needing a perfect pocket. That's what separates him. That's what changes the ceiling of this offense. And it's not like the rest of the quarterback room is falling apart, either. Mason Rudolph has had some moments. He's made plays. He's still very much a capable option. But there's a gap between being capable and being the guy. And Rodgers has made that distinction clear. This isn't about having a placeholder or a caretaker. This is about giving your team a real chance to win. Every week, every game, regardless of opponent. I get that fans have strong feelings about this. Some still prefer Rudolph. Some are tired of the old vet experiment. Some want to see a young guy like Will Howard get a real shot. And I get all of that. But right now, there is zero doubt about who the best quarterback on this roster is. There is zero doubt who gives the Steelers their best shot to compete. Not just stay in games, but win them. Unfortunately, we did get some tough news on the Howard front. During practice, he injured his hand on a center quarterback exchange. He stayed in the play, rolled out, and actually made a pretty nice completion up the sideline. But right after the throw, you could see him shake his hand aggressively, like he knew something wasn't right. Turns out it's a hand injury that's going to keep him out for a few weeks, likely the rest of the preseason. And that's a blow, not just for him, but for the entire evaluation process. The preseason is where young quarterbacks show who they are. It's where you learn if a guy has the presence, the command, the processing speed to operate in a real NFL environment. And now Howard loses that opportunity. He becomes more of a developmental project by default. Practice reps on the South Side are great, but they're not the same. They don't tell you how a guy responds to game speed, to real pressure, to hostile environments. That's a setback. It doesn't mean he's done, but it does delay things. So as of now, the quarterback hierarchy is pretty clear. Rodgers is at the top. Rudolph is the backup. Howard is developmental. And the question isn't whether Rodgers will start. It's whether he can stay healthy enough to finish. Because if he does, if he gives this team 17 games and a little bit more in January, then this offense has a chance to be something we haven't seen in a long time. That's not to say there won't be bumps. The offensive line still has work to do. The wide receivers, as good as they've looked, will need to win more consistently downfield. The run game, while improving, can't disappear for quarters at a time. But the structure is there now. The identity is taking shape. This isn't going to be a team that hopes for a busted coverage or a lucky break. This is going to be a team that marches down the field with purpose, that executes, that forces defenses to adjust and punishes them when they can't. That's what Rodgers brings. That's what makes the gamble worth it. Because you're not just plugging in a quarterback. You're installing a mindset, a belief, a higher standard of execution. And once that takes root, once the entire unit starts operating with that expectation, the results follow. That's when you start winning games you used to lose. That's when you become a problem for defenses. That's when you start looking like a team that belongs in January. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In recent days, the sports world has been abuzz with a tantalizing rumor that could shake the very foundations of the NFL landscape. Tyreek Hill, arguably one of the most electrifying wide receivers of his generation, might be on the verge of becoming the biggest signing in Pittsburgh Steelers history. Although nothing has been officially confirmed, whispers from insider sources suggest that the Steelers' front office has been actively exploring ways to bring Hill into their fold, aiming to inject unprecedented firepower into a roster hungry for championship contention. The possibility of Hill donning the black and gold jersey has sparked a frenzy among fans and analysts alike, with many speculating about the transformative impact such a move could have on the team's offensive dynamics. Given Hill's explosive speed, precise route running, and ability to change the game in an instant, the Steelers would gain a game-breaking weapon that could redefine their aerial attack. Moreover, Considering the franchise's storied history and commitment to excellence, this potential acquisition is being viewed as a landmark moment, possibly eclipsing past free agent signings in terms of sheer significance and fan excitement. While the official details remain under wraps, the mere speculation about Hill's arrival in Pittsburgh is enough to ignite discussions about the Steelers' strategic vision for the future, their competitiveness in an increasingly tough AFC, and their ambition to reclaim their status as an NFL powerhouse. The buzz surrounding Tyreek Hill's possible move to the Steelers extends beyond just the on-field benefits. It signals a bold statement by the organization about their intentions to shake up the status quo. For years, the Steelers have been known for their solid defenses and balanced offenses, but acquiring a player of Hill's caliber would mark a seismic shift in their approach. Observers are speculating that the front office sees Hill as a cornerstone for a new offensive identity, one that embraces high-octane, dynamic playmaking that can keep pace with the league's most explosive teams. The rumors hint at ongoing negotiations that might include not only lucrative contract terms, but also a vision where Hill becomes the focal point of Pittsburgh's offensive scheme. This would place significant pressure on the Steelers' quarterback to maximize Hill's talents, but it would also force opposing defenses to recalibrate their strategies, often at a disadvantage. Some insiders suggest that this potential signing could inspire other marquee players to consider Pittsburgh as a destination, sensing a renewed drive within the franchise to compete at the highest level. The prospect of Hill in Pittsburgh has ignited debates among fans and pundits, with many projecting how the synergy between Hill and the Steelers' existing playmakers might unfold on game days. As the rumors continue to swirl, anticipation builds, making this one of the most intriguing off-season stories in the NFL. Furthermore, the economic and cultural ramifications of Tyreek Hill joining the Steelers cannot be overlooked. The franchise, with its rich heritage and passionate fan base, stands to benefit enormously from the excitement and attention that a player like Hill brings. Merchandise sales, ticket demand, and media coverage would likely surge, creating a ripple effect that extends beyond the gridiron. Rumors suggest that the Steelers' management is well aware of this potential windfall and is considering the signing as not only a football decision, but a strategic business move. Hill's marketability and appeal to younger fans could rejuvenate the franchise's brand, especially in a competitive sports market where entertainment value often influences fan engagement. Moreover, whispers in the community hint at an alignment between Hill's personal brand and the Steelers' blue-collar ethos, which might make the integration smoother both on and off the field. This synergy could lead to impactful community initiatives and a deeper connection between the player, the team, and the city of Pittsburgh. While these are still speculative notions, they underscore how this signing, if it materializes, could redefine the Steelers' identity in multiple dimensions. The sports world watches keenly, as the Steelers appear poised to make a statement that echoes far beyond their usual gridiron battles. In addition to the excitement and strategic implications, there is also considerable speculation about how this potential signing fits into the broader competitive landscape of the NFL. The Steelers are entering a crucial phase where the AFC is stacked with powerhouse teams loaded with star talent. Adding Tyreek Hill could be the catalyst that pushes Pittsburgh from playoff participants to legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Rumors indicate that the coaching staff is intrigued by the idea of building an offense around Hill's unique skill set, which could open up possibilities for more creative play calling and explosive scoring opportunities. This aligns with the trend seen in other franchises that have successfully integrated elite receivers to elevate their offenses. However, some analysts caution that the transition might not be seamless, as it would require adjustments in team chemistry and game planning. The Steelers' defensive reputation remains strong, but critics suggest that without an offense capable of consistently producing points, championship aspirations could fall short. Hill's potential presence addresses that glaring need, creating a balance that could make the Steelers formidable on both sides of the ball. These discussions, though speculative, point to a future where the Steelers are no longer just a tough, grinded-out team, but a high-flying, entertaining squad that can outpace any opponent. The anticipation surrounding this rumor reflects broader hopes for a revitalized Pittsburgh team capable of competing at the highest levels. Lastly, the fan reaction to the rumors of Tyreek Hill's arrival in Pittsburgh has been nothing short of electric, fueling a wave of enthusiasm and debate across social media and fan forums. While some express cautious optimism, others are outright ecstatic, envisioning highlight reel plays and game-changing moments that Hill has delivered throughout his career. The speculation has also revived conversations about the Steelers' legacy and their ability to attract top-tier talent in a league that is increasingly competitive in player acquisition. Fans speculate about how Hill's speed and agility could complement the team's existing stars and whether this signing could usher in a new era of success. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.